Progress reportedly made during coalition talks between Prime Minister-designate Benjamin Netanyahu and far-right religious Zionism party leader Ben-Gvir Smotrich. Now, the two sitting down for about 3 hours to finish negotiations about positions Smotrich's party will hold in the next government. Netanyahu says that the meeting was held, quote, in good spirits and that progress was made on all fronts that have been holding up the talks since the beginning. Likud also said that the party's negotiating teams would meet again today with the goal of forming the right-wing government as soon as possible. The reported progress comes after Netanyahu managed to make controversial agreements in the last few days with Itamar Ben-Gvir of the extremist Otzma Yehudit party and Avi Maoz of the ultra-conservative anti-LGBTQ Noam party. Let's bring in Ariel Kahana, the diplomatic correspondent at Israel Hayom, joining us live this morning. Ariel, let's discuss the first thing on everyone's mind. When is this going to be a done deal, and when can we expect this new government?
Good morning, Hamda. It's great to be with you again. So I believe it will come to an end in the coming days, if not this weekend, then at least next weekend. And let's say there are two stages. The first one is to finish, as you said, all deals with all parties, not only with Maoz and Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, but also with Aryeh Deri from Shas and the Ashkenazi Haredi party, Torah Judaism, Yahadut Torah. So first of all, you have Netanyahu has to finish all deals with all of them. Then there is a second stage, which is approving some laws and changes and actions to take before the Knesset will vote trust or non-trust with the next government. So all that together, I believe, will end until the next weekend, until the end of next week. Yes.
Well, look, there's a lot of fear among Israeli society, among new immigrants, the LGBTQ community, secular Israelis, Arabs, Palestinians. But on the other side, Avi Maoz is going to be a minister in the prime minister's office. Let's talk about how much power he will actually do the things he sought out to do while he was campaigning. On the list of those constraints to Jewish immigration, different things you'd have to qualify for under the Israeli law of return, banning gay pride parades, the increase of Jewish education in school, carving out non-Orthodox conversions, and changing the way women have changing the standards for women in the IDF. That means removing them from combat units. So will he actually be able to do any of these things?
So I guess Hamda, that most of the list you mentioned, he will not be able to do. After all, he's just one lonely Knesset member. And the power he's going to get, although he's going to be a deputy minister in the prime minister office, it is definitely not a lot of power. Moreover, Netanyahu announced publicly, I think it's the day after the elections, that the gay parades all around Israel and other steps will continue to take place as always. Regarding human rights as well, I mean, I can't see any going back over here by Avi Maoz or others. Maybe there will be some very, very small changes. If we go back to what happened in the last decades regarding women rights in general, and particularly in the IDF, I can't see this process going back.
Let's talk about some other leaders on the far right, like Itamar Ben-Gvir, said to be the public security minister. Let's talk about the type of repercussions this will have among Israeli and Palestinian society. Talk to us about some of the things he's hoping to do almost immediately when he comes into the new government.
So I believe Ben-Gvir will have the most important responsibility for the next government, because the problems that we have actually all around Israel, which is a combination of crime, protection, crime organizations, killing in the streets, mainly in the Arab sector, but not only. And related to that is violence, I would say, spread violence in the streets. You know, we just had last week, and which is an unbelievable event here in Israel, that a man was assassinated in the street just because of an argue of one person with this murdered person, with his wife. It's an unbelievable event. We, at least in Israel, we are not used definitely to such events. So all that is, I would say, is related to a feeling which brought actually Ben-Gvir to the power. He got in the elections, which people feel they want to have order. They want to feel the law enforced. And that's the main mission Ben-Gvir will begin in a few days when he becomes a minister. So it's not only about Arabs and Jews and politics. It's just people to have the feeling that they are safe, they are secure in the streets. That's the main mission of the common government. Ben-Gvir made the declarations, but it's one thing to talk about the challenges. It's another thing to really assume it and see the change so everybody could feel it.
Ariel Kahana, the diplomatic correspondent at Israel Hayom, joining us live this morning. Thank you.